We are going to explore a little bit on J.J. Hurtak's The Book of Knowledge, the Keys of Enoch. Now, this is very deep, very esoteric teachings here. So we'll only do a little bit at a time, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back to it. I want to tell you a little bit about J.J. Hurtak. He holds a PhD in social science, history, and Oriental studies. And I was reading through the introduction and learned that the Book of Knowledge and the Keys of Enoch is a blending of various belief systems. I recognized in his writings the Kabbalah, Gnosticism, Jewish traditional practices. Of course, that's probably because he's Jewish. Eastern philosophy, science, and others. And while I was reading, he indicated that this was not to be looked at as channeled material, and that he received this on January 2nd and 3rd of 1973. So I'm going to read a little bit. These are the first three keys. We live in a many and one universe. The creative mind as the center of this universe is known as Lord, King, and Redeemer. The creations which survive are creations which desire that the specie gather life and light into the image and similitude of the higher evolution, which is the living universe. So we live in a many and one universe. What does this mean to you? How do you interpret this? I did warn you, it was deep, right?
I would say gosh, now my mind's blanking. The many planes of existence beyond what we're taught about, and beyond our three dimensions.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, I think that there's a lot here. I mean, there's a lot in this universe, and there's worlds within worlds, and there's also everyone's experience or reality of that. So I think the paradox is true, that all is connected and there are many.
Okay.
I guess that's how I receive that.
Well, if you have to guess at it, you're in trouble.
We're always guessing.
Sandy, how do you interpret this? We live in a many and one universe.
Well, I tend to agree with what Beth said. I think there are so many levels of understanding, and we, in our growth, we seek that level that we're ready to, to understand. And I just really agree with Beth. I think that the planes of existence, that's what it makes me think of. And so much that we don't even know, that we haven't even begun to understand or tap into, which is daunting, kind of, sometimes. It's hard enough to understand what we think we do know than to imagine all that we don't even know yet. But I feel like the planes of existence really sum that up for me. Mhm.
Okay. Daryl, any thoughts?
The image of a shopping mall comes to mind. As you go up the escalator, first floor, second floor, third floor, you get different experiences at each floor as you are rising up. So that's just the image that came.
That reminds me of a dream I had about it was called the well at and as you went down it, you saw these different levels of existence or expression. So, but very good. Nancy,
Yeah.
how do you view we live in a many and one universe?
Well, I'm kind of stuck with like physical, emotional, mental, body, your embodiment levels, and they're all different. And sometimes, emotions, your thoughts are different than what presently the universe, so you have to adjust always. So I'm thinking more in terms of there's the physical element, there's the emotional element, there's the body element, your heart, organs, come together as into one, but there's just so many that has to be in line to be in the universe and in the one present.
Harmony and resonance.
Yeah.
He speaks about this throughout the book. So when I read this, we live in a many and one universe. I think of people. I see each of us as a universe, a contained universe, because we've got these different aspects of ourselves, particularly with reincarnation. We've got all these versions of ourselves that go back and that go forward. And we're just one among many, but together they all form one universe. And then each of the people we encounter, these are different universes, many universes. And that's not to say anybody has the wrong idea with this. It is how we express what we understand, and through that expression is how we grow. So don't think that you're down here and somebody else is up here. It's not like that. We're all right here. So keep that in mind. So the creative mind as the center of this universe is known as Lord, King, and Redeemer. Anybody have any thoughts with that?
It
Yeah.
struck me that he was coming from his viewpoint, and you explained his background. So he's using words that, I guess what occurred to me is he's using words that he grew up with. I do think myself that there is a one source, one God, that does have a, I wouldn't say necessarily a personality, but, is its own entity.
Okay. Anyone else?
Repeat the wording again for me.
Yes, the creative mind as the center of this universe is known as Lord, King, and Redeemer. Now, these are all key words that come from the Bible.
Mhm.
And when I make that connection, I come back to the teaching of Jesus, which is, where does the kingdom of heaven reside? It resides within. And where does the Father reside? Well, naturally, the Father resides in the kingdom, which is within. It's just my interpretation on some of these. Now, everybody's going to have their own different interpretations. And from those points is where you build upon. Because as he says, the first 54 keys are the foundation. So I'm not going to read the third key, but I'm going to continue with what he has with the third key. So these are the first 3 keys of the Enoch scroll. And when Enoch programmed these keys into me, he explained that we are part of an open-ended universe. An open-ended universe. Being part of an open-ended universe, we are part of an open-ended mind. Being part of an open-ended mind, we are part of an open-ended universal image. So just the idea of an open-ended universe, does that tell you anything? Or an open-ended mind, how does that speak to you?
Maybe like all things are possible. There-
Very
there's no
good.
limitations. No.
Endless.
Very good. Anyone else care to add to that?
Well, the phrase that popped into my head was that movie, I think it was from the 70s, The Never Ending Story. Does
Love
anybody
that.
remember that?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like at any time, that storyline can change depending on what we do with it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or what you think?
Think.
Having read most of this, I can tell you that you're on the right track, because what is it that we have the most difficulty with when it comes to personal growth?
Opening our minds.
Okay, opening your mind, but what is the one thing that always is the most difficult when you're opening your mind?
For me, it's like the fear of
Letting
the
go.
unknown. It's like, if I open my mind, what the heck is going to come through? And it's getting through that fear. It's like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. If I can't do it now, I'll do it down the road.
Okay, so there's fear. Did you have something, Nancy?
I just think that resistance.
Resistance. That's very good. Resistance. Because it's easy to say, just, well, just sit down there, relax, and open your mind. Remember that Matrix movie? Free your mind. All right, I'll just free my mind. Free my mind. And what does he do? He lands on the asphalt. But do you know why he landed on the asphalt? What did he have to do?
Open his mind. He wasn't in control.
Close.
Let
But
go.
he let go. Exactly. Because the one thing that holds us wherever we are at, including myself, is whatever we hold on to. And whatever it is that we're holding on to, you can call it a limitation. You can call it a desire. You can call it a habit. It doesn't make a difference what you call it, but it still comes back to you're still holding on to something. And the most difficult part of evolving is learning to let go. It's easy to say, let go and let God. And a lot of us will say, oh, well, yes, I do let go and let God. But we never mention the little string that we may still be holding on to. Does anybody remember when we talked about the Hermetic principles? The first Hermetic principle was that the universe was mind. And that's what's being referred to here. If mind is open-ended and the universe is open-ended, what's the connection? How about if I give you a proposition? And that would be proposing that an open-ended universe and an open-ended mind are the same. It's something for you to think about. So if we look at the first three keys, we will see that in the many and one, there is a relationship of universe to universe and universe to many universes, or a relationship between myself, Daryl, and then many universes. Well, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. It should be a relationship between universe and universe, which would be myself and myself, and then many universes. Universe, myself, many universes. Daryl, Sharon, Rachel, Nancy, all of you are the many universes. Now, that's just from my perspective. It will be different from your perspective, and that's the perspective you pursue. By seeing universe to universe and universe to many universes, we see the overall plan of development as requiring a higher mind. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say higher mind, but that's what he has written here. So as you begin to see this from your perspective, you begin to to see glimpses of what we like to say is the grand plan. And it doesn't make a difference where you are at, because we say higher because that's the best way to demonstrate it, is higher. But in actuality, it's all around. It's all encompassing, all pervasive. Any thoughts or comments? Any questions?
Read something recently, a little book of meditations, is that we are all connected. Each of you is really a part of me. I am having a hard time wrapping my head around this, but I try to use that concept at work because work is so stressful, is that, you know, I give myself that intention before I walk in the door. The person on the other end of that phone call is me. And I've just been kind of using that as a mantra. And that it kind of fits in with our book stuff, you know, setting that intention word on word. And I haven't noticed it, but the people on the other line recently have been saying, can I come in and talk to you? I feel like that you understand me, or you are so kind. You make me feel better. And it's like, oh my God, it's working. So we've got those universal principles. Is it reciprocity? No.
Yep. That
It
works.
is?
That
Okay.
works. Reciprocity. What you put out comes back.
So, but like I said, it's still very hard to wrap my analytical brain around it. And I should probably just give up and just try to wrap my heart around it instead.
You're an analytical person.
Confusing.
So
Yes, I am.
until you're able to wrap your head around it, it'll be difficult to wrap your heart around it, because you
Yeah.
have that need to understand.
Yes, I do.
So it's a good starting point for you. It's a good way to lay your foundation. It'll take time
Yeah.
to see that, because what's happening is you are learning a different kind of math.
Oh, that is a good metaphor. Is
Yep.
that what I'm looking for? I can wrap my head around that.
It's a different kind of math is what it is. Just don't ask me to explain the formula.
Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless. Any other comments or questions before I start tapping your shoulder there? So how about you, Nancy?
I don't know. Say it again.
How does this resonate with you? Even if it's just a little bit, you know, is there what about it resonates for you?
Freedom,
Okay.
for whatever reason, it just the freedom of endlessness.
Good. So you'll be learning how to use that freedom to apply it.
Yes.
You just didn't pull that out of the air and say, now he'll leave me alone, did you?
No, actually, I thought about it when you were talking earlier, too. Freedom just came to mind, and the endlessness, of the universe and our mind, being endless, and being one. It's like freedom. You can keep going.
Good.
Eternity, and keep improving and keep learning and growing. And the freedom
Good.
to do so instead of resisting, because I am one to resist. So a lot.
So remember, everything has not one solution, but multiple solutions. And the one that works best will fall into place for you if you allow it. So excellent. Good. How about you, Sandy? How does this resonate with you?
Well, I agree. Certain things came to mind. One being, I just can't even fathom a narrow path. I don't know. When I think of our path, it's just endless. It's open. It's limitless, and it's not, going in one direction. It's all directions. And I think if I had to, if I thought that there was just this one little path, I don't think I could ever be happy. How could you be happy when you're limited? So, or fulfilled, I should say, fulfilled, or continue to learn and grow if you've just got this little part that society or somebody says, that's it, there you go, that's it. I could never be fulfilled in that thinking. So that's my feeling about it.
Good.
I love that. I love the endless possibility. I love the limitless aspect of life. It's such a natural concept to me that I couldn't really think of anything else. Look at it any other way. Let me put it that way.
Cool.
That's just me. My thinking.
Very good thinking too.
Well, thank you.
How about you, Rachel? Any thoughts? How does this resonate with you?
Well, I think a lot of what you've brought up today are kind of metaphysical basics, of the universe and how things work spiritually, physically. I think we live in an ever expanding universe and all of us are always growing. And there's, not a finite end to that. So makes sense.
Good. Oh, would you like to add something, Sharon?
I absolutely agree with everything everybody has said. And I guess when I think about our paths, there are as many paths as there are human beings, and anyone on the path, spirit as well. And like it says, I see the relationship between open-ended universe and open-ended mind, because I do feel like they are parallel. And we're only limited by our own limitations with that's, and we can pretty much go anywhere we want with it.
Exactly.
And,
Anywhere you want.
Mm-hmm. So, and it's a wonderful thing, because I don't want to be on somebody else's path. I want to be on my own. I don't want to be, I want to explore my own path. And, but we're all, our goal is the same, I believe, but we just get there in different ways. So unfortunately, I think a lot of religions don't see that connection. You know, my path is the only path. My way is the only way. Well, you can just go wherever you want, but you're not going to make it. You're not going to get there. You're going to be, you know, you're taking the wrong road. And I think we see that. And unfortunately, we all grow on our own path. And, you know, this lifetime, the last lifetime, you know, we are where we are supposed to be, where we have come as far as we can come, and all of those experiences have got us to this point. So, you know, every one of us has a different route, but I think we're all trying to get to the same ending. So the same, I shouldn't even call it an ending, I guess, but to the same point, to the same purpose, to the same experience, the same growth, all of that. So
I really like that she reduced it all to experience. That is just fantastic.
good. Good.
So, any other comments or questions before we wrap this up? Well, in that case, thank you for allowing me to share, and thank you for participating.